This video is to review Big Ideas Lesson 6.5. What is percent of decrease, what is percent of increase, and percent error? Find the new amount. 8 meters increased by 25% is blank meters. So first thing is to find what is 25% of 8 meters. You might be able to think about mental math, or you can take 8 times the decimal for 25% and find out that 25% of 8 meters is 2 meters. So then if we do 8 plus 2, we end up with 10 meters. So 8 meters increased by 25% is 10 meters. 50 points decreased by 26% is blank points. Again, I'm going to take my points and I'm going to figure out what is 26% of 50 by multiplying by the decimal. You could also multiply by the fraction for 26%. When I multiply, I find out that 26% of 50 is 13, and so 50 decreased by 13 points is 37 points. Identify the percent of change as an increase or a decrease. 12 inches to 36 inches, that is an increase. And so we are going to find the percent increase by taking the new minus the original divided by the original. So my new is 36 minus 12 divided by 12. I end up with 24 divided by 12. This equals 2. Think about this in terms of decimals. It's 2.0. And so my percent is 200%. 50 pounds to 35 pounds, that is a decrease. So we're going to use the percent decrease formula, which is original minus new divided by original. So my original is 50 minus the new 35 divided by my original. I end up with 15 fiftieths. This is the decimal 3/10, which means it is 30% decrease. 72 paper clips to 63 paper clips. This is a decrease. So again, we are going to take our original, come on pen, our original, subtract the new, and divide by the original. So in this case, it would be 72 minus 63 divided by 72. I end up with 9 divided by 72. When I work that out, I get this decimal, 0 and 125 thousandths, which means 12.5%. Identify the percent of change as increase or decrease. 68 miles to 42.5 is a decrease again. My decrease formula means I'm going to take the original, subtract the new, divide by the original. So in this case, I have 68 minus 42.5 divided by 68. I end up with 25.5 divided by 68. When I do this division, I get the decimal 0 and 375 thousandths, which is 37.5%. You estimate that a baby pig weighs 20 pounds. The actual weight of the baby pig is 16 pounds. Find the percent error. So when we find percent error, we are taking the amount of error and dividing by the actual. So in this case, the amount of error would be the difference between your estimate and the actual, so 4. And I'm dividing it by the actual, 16. You can probably see that this would be the decimal 25 hundredths, so 25% error. Did I skip a problem? Oh. Identify the percent of change as an increase or decrease. Yay, fractions. So from 1/4 to 1/2, that's an increase. Just because it's fractions, don't get worried. We're going to take that new amount, subtract the original, and divide by the original. Okay, so our new amount is 1/2, subtract 1/4, and we'll be dividing by 1/4. In your brain, you can probably think 1/2 minus 1/4 would equal 1/4. You could also change this into the equivalent fraction 2/4. So I end up with 1/4 divided by 1/4. Thinking about any number over itself. So 3 over 3 equals 1. So this also equals 1. When we get that number 1, that means it is a 100%. Oh, there's my problem I missed. A cereal box fills boxes with 16 ounces of cereal. The acceptable percent error in filling a box is 2.5%. Find the least and the greatest acceptable weights. So we first have to figure out what is 2.5% of 16. And so I'm going to take 16 and I'm going to multiply it by my decimal my decimal version of 2.5. So that would be 0.25, 25 thousandths. When I multiply this out, I figure out that 2.5% of 16 is 4/10. So when I calculate the least, I have to take 16 and subtract that 2.5% or 4/10 to find out the least acceptable amount would be 15 6/10. When I want to find the greatest acceptable amount in that box, I have to add that 4/10. So the greatest acceptable amount would be 16 4/10. And in that case, it was an increase. Write and solve an equation to answer this question. 39.2 is what percent of P? All right, back to this one. Write and solve an equation to answer the question. 39.2 is what percent of 112? So I'm going to use the percent equation for this one. So I know A, that's my part, 39.2. Percent is what I'm solving for, and my whole is 112. So there's my equation. Oftentimes I like to write this in algebraic form, so 112p equals 39 2/10. I'm going to use the properties of equality, inverse operations, to divide both sides by 112 and solve for p. I get the decimal 35 hundredths, which means this would be 35%. Have a great day.